Normally I'd start the review by talking about an obscure old game or comparing it to a 1940s film noir, but not this time. I want to instead start this review by bringing up the importance of a good user interface. It may not be something you think about all the time, but bad UI can all but ruin a game. Take The Knight and the Dragon as an example. This new Switch game looks normal on the surface, but it's hiding a dark secret. When you die, you can't just restart from the last checkpoint. No, that would be too simple. Instead, you get thrown back to the map screen, be told that you're going to loose your progress, exit to the main menu, and then have to re-enter the map screen in order to move the cursor to the start button. It takes a half dozen steps just to restart from the checkpoint, and that's every single time you die. That's unacceptable, and it's just one of the many problems dogging The Knight and the Dragon. You know the story. Knight falls in love with a princess, but before they can live happily ever after, a dragon rips the two lovebirds apart. This sends the knight on a lengthy adventure through a fantasy world filled with all kinds of monsters and mayhem. It's basically a Ghouls N Ghosts runner, only without the character and charm. If you've played a runner before, then The Knight and the Dragon is gonna feel awfully familiar. You move between the left, center, and right lanes in order to dodge obstacles and fight off wild boars and zombies. You'll occasionally need to jump on platforms and slide under tables, all while breaking pots and chests in order to collect coins and power-ups. The knight's quest is long, but the good news is that he doesn't have to do it all in a single run. The goal is to survive long enough in order to bust through the various gates, which you can turn into checkpoints for a few hundred gold coins. If you can survive long enough, you'll end up fighting one of the nasty bosses, including a spiky roller and the titular dragon. These are simple stages where the goal is to dodge attacks and keep throwing swords at the enemy. Once you've vanquished the foes, it's off to the next stage where you'll ride a horse or jump into a boat. Now, the swords aren't your only defense against this fantasy world, as the knight will be able to pick up power-ups that let him double jump and plow through the enemies with a giant shield. Your owl buddy will also get in on the action and lift you over the more challenging sections. And if you're absolutely desperate, you can pick up potions that allow you to continue mid-level. But don't think you can rely on these power-ups because they're limited and not always easy to come by. One of the things I really appreciate about the game is how different each area is. This is a long game, so it's nice that the different stages come with their own batch of bad guys and obstacles. In fact, I like the art design across the board. It has a nice cartoony look with colorful levels and creepy enemies. Aside from some frame rate issues, the worst I can say about the presentation is that it gets a bit repetitive after a while. But that's true about pretty much every game in this genre. Graphics aside, this game has a lot of problems, both big and small. One of the issues is that it's not always clear what lane you're standing in. This is not like a lot of runners, where you'll snap into a lane by pressing left and right. Here you can be halfway between lanes and not even realize it until it's too late. This, coupled with the way the knight handles, led to a lot of needless and frustrating deaths. It doesn't help that the game is inconsistent when it comes to taking damage. Much like Ghouls N Ghosts, the knight will shed his armor and run in his underpants when he's hit. At least that's how it's supposed to work. The problem is that some obstacles will kill the knight in a single hit. No embarrassing run in the underwear or second try, just straight to the game over screen. I could never figure out why some enemies and tables would only leave me wounded while the others would send me to the morgue. It's confusing. But my biggest complaint is that the game is just too long. The stages start out short and sweet, but by the time you're nearing the end, you'll find that you're spending an hour or more on each location. They keep expanding the length of the stages without adding enough new to warrant the increase, which leads to a whole bunch of repetition. And when I look back at The Knight and the Dragon, it's not going to be the cartoony graphics or my owl friend that I remember. It's gonna be the crushing repetition. The Knight and the Dragon has the ingredients to be a good-looking runner set in a fantasy world, but the lengthy stages and monotonous action turn the adventure into a real slog. The game is also brought down by gameplay issues and the occasional frame rate problems. I certainly like the idea of a Ghouls N Ghosts inspired runner, But this one is too long and repetitive for its own good. I don't know, I think the knight might be better off just finding a new girlfriend. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. Do you spend much time thinking about a game's user interface? I mean, is it something that stands out when you're playing a game? Let me know in the comments below. In other news, look for a review of Sniper Elite V2 Remastered on Monday, along with whatever else I write and produce. Well, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.